Hey, welcome back to the channel. Since last time you were here, I've been doing a little work here and there on this bike. I'm not too big of a rush on it, but we'll show you here. The new valve kit showed up. So we're going to be going over that. A few things I found in the manual. I've also painted the outer clutch cover and the timing cover kind of the color it was originally. I think it would have been maybe a little bit lighter cast iron color. But I like this. It's a nice contrast between the painted part and the aluminum part. And then on the frame here, it's all hardened up now. I polished the bottom triple clamp, repainted the upper one because that's the way they were originally. So that's just sitting there waiting to go back together, but now with a nice color, I'm still thrilled with it. Anyway, that's what's going on. That's what's happening in the shop today, and let's get to it. So on the cylinder head, there's a few things I found in the manual. There's different valves here. The two exhaust valves are a different size, and then the outer intake valves are a different size, and then the middle intake is a different size. You really got to be careful when you go to put that together, otherwise your assembled height will be all out of whack. Like you really, when you take the old valves apart, you got to set them in a specific spot, right? What position they came out of and all that stuff, so then when it goes together, you know what you're doing. In this case, I had to, because they don't tell you anything here, I had to take each valve and place it next to the original valve in the location I knew it was from to figure out what was what. The other thing in the manual that I maybe would have missed if I didn't have a downloaded manual is, you see how the springs are closer together at one end than the other? More space here. The closer together springs go down, and I think that's just a progressive rate thing. As the valve opens more and more, it gets stiffer and stiffer. So today I'm going to show you how to lap a valve. This one happens to be the center intake valve, so we'll be going over that in a little bit here. So one thing I should go over here that I've learned getting these first three valves in, I was having a hell of a time. I couldn't figure out why these lock collars wouldn't grab the valve, and the reason is the exhaust valve is a different diameter. It's bigger than the intake valves, so the collar that locks there is bigger. So once I figured out that, they just went together, no trouble. So we're going to learn how to lap a valve here. I've got I've got coarse and fine valve lapping compound. This stuff lasts forever. I've probably owned this for 30 years when I was a mechanic, diesel mechanic. So you're going to apply, I'm just going to do with the fine. We won't do the coarse unless we need it. We're going to apply that on there. We're going to set it on our seat. Then I've got a little hose off an old carburetor to go onto the valve stem, because you can't reach it with your finger. Put that on there to grab the valve, and then we're just going to rotate it back and forth and around and around. And you can hear the grit in there, and what it's doing is sealing between the valve face and the valve seat. I don't know if this camera will pick it up, but you should be able to see a fine line all the way around the valve, and then all the way around the seat. And that way you know it's sealing. If you see a spot that's not shiny, then you're going to have to bust out the coarse stuff and keep going over it. Until you're satisfied. There's some spot down here that's not quite done, so I'm going to go to the coarse and then repeat and then back to fine until I've got a nice clean crisp line all the way around. This is not the most fun job in the world. I would highly suggest you have a very clean work area and lots of light, because if you drop one of those like I just did and you got a dirty floor, forget finding it. Well, I've got them in place. I'm going to back off the spring. And you can see it's locked there. The last thing you want to do is wrap it. You don't got to hit it hard, but you got to make sure those lock collars are seated, that you can feel the spring moving. The last thing you want is those flying out and you drop a valve and then you're back into thousands of dollars. So there, all the valves are now in. Should be like a brand new head. Don't take my word for everything. If you're going to tackle this yourself, and it is something you do yourself, you don't need to go pay a shop to do it. Watch lots of videos, download the proper manual, do your research. Like, you know, I kind of got hung up on these collars, but I know it now. So you may run into stuff like that. But yeah, other than a valve spring compressor, this is something you can do yourself. You'll have to buy some lapping compound. I'm trying to decide whether to use the new cups that came with the valve spring kit, or to use the old ones, because the old ones are lapped into the cam, but then I get looking at it and there's damage on the side, and I'm going to try the new one. I'm going to use the button. It said in the manual it's supposed to say on the back how thick it is, but that's worn away. So what I am going to do is put it together with that shim in there and put the cams in, and then decide what I'm going to need to order for shims. I'm hoping nothing, but I don't think I'll get that lucky. Okay, so the last thing you need to do is set the valve clearance between that valve and the camshaft. I did end up putting the original shims back in the original locations, but only one on the intake. The center one on the intake was the only one that was right. I had to get some more from my local Yamaha dealer. But basically in the manual they're telling you intake, they want a clearance of 0.1 to 0.15 millimeters, exhaust 0.2 to 0.25. I've got the gap set a little loose. Like, you want to get a thin long feeler gauge that's marked, and you gotta have the this dot even with the surface of the head there, and then you're gonna slip your shim in. So I'm a little bit on the loose side. The center one's a bit tighter. It's probably 0.13. I'm a little on the loose side because I know those are going to seat in. Those valves will, once the bike runs, seat in a bit. So I'd rather have a bit on the loose side than the tight side. Same thing on the exhaust. A little bigger gap there. Make sure that mark is on the head. So you're on the base circle of the cam. I'm going to recheck this once the bike's all together, the timing chain is on, and you know, it's final assembly. I'll double check that. For now, it's easier to do it like this without having to pull the cam chain out of the way each time, but they spin nice. So that's going to be it for this episode. If you enjoy this type of content, please drop a like and subscribe. It'll help the channel grow. I want to thank you for making it to the end of the video, and stay tuned for the next one.